To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Happy New Year! 2020 has arrived, and it is so good to have you with us. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the place that connects you to more of what makes you happy. This is, in fact, Kingdom Report Live. I'm Wade Heath from Burbank, here just outside of Warner Brothers Studios, where today it's all about our predictions, all about what we're looking forward to in Disney parks from coast to coast this 2020. You know, I've got some friends here with me, as I typically do. It's the one and only AttractionFaction.net's favorite child, Katrina Manzone.
Child?
Favorite child.
Favorite
He's the favorite
child.
one, huh?
That's right. I'm like a baby Yoda. I'm adorable.
Whoa.
Anyway, hi, everybody.
AttractionFaction.net's cooler child,
I like
perhaps.
watching you dig yourself out of this hole. over
Yeah.
there.
Tyler Crouch.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you all after the new year. I'm glad to be back.
And, well, Kingdom Report Live's foremost expert in all things Padawan. Please welcome producer Curt.
Why, thank you so much, Wade. I'm
Curt,
glad I could be here.
I'm glad you could be here as
Yeah.
well. I feel like it's been a year since I've seen you. Am I right?
It feels more like a decade.
Maybe even a decade?
Yeah, a decade. It's been about a decade.
By God, tell
Yeah.
me, do you have a New Year's resolution, Curt?
Pretty much just get my stuff together, I
Yeah.
guess. Is
Get
the,
your S
the
together?
The political correct term.
Yeah.
You know, just everything just needs to come together.
Okay.
You know, it's
Yeah.
too far apart right now.
That's the most vague and nondescript thing I've ever heard. So I hope
You're welcome.
hope you get your stuff.
It also fits with everyone's life simultaneously. So.
Yeah,
Yes.
I want to get my stuff together too.
I know,
Absolutely.
me too.
Well, you two are back from vacation. You're
That's
back
right.
from weeks away from us.
Yep.
You went out to Walt Disney World. What'd you do? What'd you see?
Oh, my gosh. We ate, we drank, we rode rides,
Yeah,
had fun.
We did everything.
Yeah, we
did
did,
literally everything.
Yeah.
Literally?
We got
Yeah,
to stay at
literally.
Grandestino, and we tried the Kronos Club level this time, which is legit.
Club.
It's like the concierge level, which was really fun.
It's
and
amazing.
so, oh my gosh, there was there. It's huge, it's massive, and then you can see the fireworks from outside.
Oh.
And then there's unlimited alcohol. You can just pull and grab a beer.
Let's see.
It's
You're
crazy.
seen.
It's crazy. They had a
Yeah.
gluten-free
Well, we're
beer.
cool.
That was like my
We're
favorite.
classy.
I know, it was amazing. But yeah, it was fun. We had some rain, but cooler weather. Got to ride
Yeah.
Rise of the Resistance finally.
Oh, yeah. Rise of the Resistance. Oh,
Twice?
Man.
How are you feeling about it?
Oh my
now
God.
that you've seen it
A lot
firsthand.
better
Good.
than the movie that just came out.
Whoa! My. Ouch.
Ow.
Goodness.
I'm going to
Yeah.
go for it.
I know. God, my job.
Wowzers.
No, but Rise of the Resistance was incredible. It really
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
We
It was
did 2
stressful
times.
to get the boarding pass,
Yeah.
though. Like, we woke up at 4, 5 in the
like
morning.
5:30 or
got to the
something,
park at
5.
5:30. They let us in at 6:30. We stood there for a half hour at 7, and then both of us had our phone out, ready to go. And then we got boarding group, I think 20 something. And then so we went back to the hotel, had breakfast. They called us, so we had 2 hours to get to Rise of the Resistance. And then, yeah, it took us about 45 minutes from standing in the queue to finish the ride. So it was great. I don't know.
How long, when you got the boarding pass, how long did you have to wait before you got called?
It was probably honestly 40 minutes or something.
Oh,
Because by
yeah,
the time
it
we got
wasn't
back to the
bad.
car, got to the hotel, had breakfast, they just sent me a push notification saying you're ready, and then you have 2 hours to get there. And so we kind of took our time, and we're like, oh, we'll eat breakfast and kind of chill out for a second, and then we went a little bit later. But yeah, it was it was actually really seamless. And honestly, the queue, there's like not a lot of standing time. I mean, you stand, but it's not like it's always continuously moving. It's not like you stand and wait in the same spot for like 5 minutes and then you move up a little closer. It's always continuously moving, which is, I think, great. I don't like standing in the same spot all the time.
I don't want to take away from a segment coming later in the show, but this is a prediction that they're gonna do this queue for a long time. This virtual queue. This isn't going away anytime soon. This is something that they're planning to maintain for a very long time. There's not much space for people to stand around there. It's already almost full. At least all the parts that are on stage. So it's interesting that I think they built this ride thinking that the entire time they were just going to be doing virtual queues, and so I think that's what it's going to keep staying at for the foreseeable future. Even at Disneyland, I think it's going to be the same. So,
and in the hierarchy of ride experiences, you guys have been to a lot of places theme park wise.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of different experiences and attractions. Where does this rate in your top 10?
Ooh,
I mean,
I still love Indiana Jones. Like that's like my ride. Like I love all aspects of Indiana Jones and the excitement and stuff. But I want to say like this is like the second. It's like one underneath Indiana Jones.
Interesting.
Like it's up there. Like I really like it.
I think it's by far one of the coolest rides I've ever seen, and it's by itself. There's nothing else exactly like it, and there will probably be nothing else exactly like it for a long time.
He was adorable the first time he rode it. He doesn't say much in rides, but he
just
said
take
"wow"
things in,
out
but
loud
I was
like 3
wow,
times.
like a bunch of times. Wow, like it really is incredible, and even not even the parts where you're on the actual ride, right? Like even when you're building up to getting on the ride, there is just so much that you've never seen before, and everything that you kind of have seen before, like they have like Ray beam in with her little, and she gives you kind of a little phone call. And you've seen that stuff in plenty of theme park attractions, but not like this. The way they do it is somehow perfect. There is you can't see a hidden mirror. There's like no way that, I don't know how they do it, honestly, because it's just that impressive. And every little detail that you see is that level of impressive.
I can't wait for you guys to see it.
I know.
In January. It's like it is January in a couple weeks.
Yeah, and it's really coming very soon here, and it's the kind of ride that just changes the theme park kind of landscape, if that makes sense. Like
that's fantastic.
Now there needs to be more immersion. I mean, that's they've lifted the bar on immersion unlike any other part of Galaxy's Edge. This is the part of immersion that really succeeds the most. And I would say the one downfall with it is that because it's such a long experience, after you do it a number of times, it may not be quite as enjoyable anymore.
Due to the length.
Due to the length, because really the first sections are kind of really glorified pre-shows in a way. So I think once you do it a number of times, it may not be quite as exciting. But as a first-time ride, you feel incredible going through there because there's nothing... Again, there's nothing that immersive. You really feel like you're in this like multi-stage adventure that you're a part of, and I can't think of any other ride that really 100% succeeds at that as much as this one does. Yeah. Even when you're in the queue, you can get on the Play Disney app, and you start the story with the Play Disney app. You're actually talking to Finn, doing different things, so that you can create what's happening on the Death Star, on the Star Destroyer. And I've even read a couple things too that this leads into Rise of Skywalker. So if you go and watch Rise of Skywalker, Kylo Ren, he's not on his ship, the Finalizer, anymore, and you'll find out why in Rise of the Resistance. So
interesting.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Overall, amazing. Best thing in Galaxy's Edge, like by far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does this elevate the land?
No, because unfortunately, no, because you're not going to be. You're going to get in a queue, and then you're going to go do something else while you're waiting for your ride. So.
And I think that's why Smuggler's Run was so long, because there was one time where Smuggler's Run, like the queue, was all the way in Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like it was like weaving in and out of Galaxy's Edge out to Toy Story Land, and I was like, I would never wait this long for Smuggler's Run ever. Yeah. But
But that was the only
That's
thing.
peop-
If you
that's
show
what
up,
people do.
you show up to Hollywood Studios on your vacation, there's really not much to do while you're waiting for your Rise of Resistance. So
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see it open here at Disneyland January 17th. You're right,
Yeah.
coming right up. Sounds like they've announced this past week, Disneyland has, that they are going to go through with the boarding pass idea, much like they did when they started with the land entirely.
Yeah.
And they had the boarding groups, sort of arriving in virtual queue systems. So I think that's a great way to handle it.
I'm
Seems like
curious
it's
if they're
convenient for
gonna
everybody.
do that in the morning though, because I feel like Anaheim police is they're not wanting people to get there early because I'm sure a lot of people have read the chaotic happenings that happened when everybody was trying to circle around and around and around in front of Hollywood Studios before they even opened, and then they finally were just open the gates,
Yeah.
and then they just finally let everybody park, and then it was like a fire hazard, so they just let everybody into the park, and then they're like, well, just start the app, and then they let people boarding groups. I don't know.
I think
it's fair if they're gonna do that to Disneyland.
I think they'll have to open early, and it's a different beast than
I guess
Disney
so.
World. I think that they're more. They don't want to make Anaheim police upset. Over in Disney World, they don't really care. It's their jurisdiction.
I know,
they can
they
do
don't
what they want. I can't imagine they're gonna make people drive around in circles, but.
I'm sure we'll hear more about the operational end of things and how Disneyland's going to attack this, given
On the
that
16th.
Yeah, right.
At 9:59 p.m.
One of the most anticipated attractions ever coming to Disneyland Park,
I'm
along with this
excited.
big expansion. I can't wait to see it myself because now
We don't
there
want
are.
to tell you a lot because we don't want to spoil it for
I
you.
completely appreciate
We're like,
that.
Yeah.
Can't
There are
tell
now
you
3
anything.
people a part of this show that have all been on the Hollywood Studios version. I have not, Curt has not, but we will certainly
No.
be there for Disneyland here in the coming weeks. And speaking of Walt Disney World, we turn our attention now out east, right, out to Walt Disney World, where Gared Hassel, our Walt Disney World reporter, is standing by for Gared on the Go. Gared on the go time, and Mr. Gared Hassel looks like he's at EPCOT for us today. Got to tell you, Gared, a lot has been going on over the holiday season, not just those insane crowds, as anybody that might be joining us live this week will know. This is the end of the holiday season, this final weekend, if you will. And the holiday crowds have hit Disney parks from coast to coast in mass. Saw a lot of reports about certain parks having to restrict access and kind of shove people gently out and say, yeah, you might want to go to some other places there. But you're at EPCOT today. You were at Magic Kingdom yesterday. Tell us about your experience at Magic Kingdom.
So at Magic Kingdom yesterday, it was one of the nicest days we've had in a while. It was around 85 degrees, not too humid, just a little warm. But it got to the point to where Winnie the Pooh had a 65-minute wait. I'm pretty sure It's a Small World was around an hour. Peter Pan was close to 2 hours. It was literally like sardine can traffic trying to walk through some places. It felt like kind of like Christmas in the park where everyone's just trying to go there. So it was a little chaotic for me. Luckily, I had the Fast Pass. But probably the worst thing that happened yesterday was that Splash Mountain stopped operating. The water was completely drained from the attraction, and cast members did not look amused. They looked very frustrated. So I went up to a few of them and said, hey, thank you so much for all that you do. I know it's tough, but thank you so much. And please try not to beat up any guests.
And I think you took the words right out of everybody's mouth when you say something like that. This has got to be one of the craziest times to work in Disney parks, to have to put up with the onslaught of nonstop crowds, nonstop sort of chaos in terms of just repeated questions and barrage of needs, and just trying to support everybody as they come into these theme parks during the holiday season can be very taxing on anybody that works in that environment. If you've ever worked retail, amplify it up by like 50. And that's what you get when you're a cast member at a Disney park. That really is sort of that experience during those 2 weeks of Christmas into New Year's. So we want to thank everybody that is a Disney cast member that works in these theme parks and say we really appreciate everything that you've done for us this holiday season.
That's definitely true. I think about the traffic. I mean, you showed you showed me a couple pictures of the traffic going into Magic Kingdom, and if it's bad for the guests, imagine what it's like for the cast members. So
Right.
thank you for everything.
They got to continue to be that smiling, happy face all the time, and they always have to make sure that everybody has the same individual experience. It's hard to do when you have just been sort of beaten down with questions and maybe frustrated people that don't understand how something works, and so they get yelled at and they get shouted at. It can be very difficult. So we want to definitely express our sincere appreciation for Disney cast members from coast to coast. But Gared, being in Epcot today, tell us a little bit about what's going on. And I know Epcot's the place of a lot of change.
Yeah, so Epcot is going to be the place for a lot of 2020, 2021, and 2022 action. First and foremost, the biggest thing you'll probably notice when you enter the park is that the entranceway has undergone a major makeover. It was my first time seeing it today, and it's not fully complete. It's only half done. So what the Imagineers and Disney have been doing is they tore out the old Leva Legacy statues that were there and located to the, I guess, pre-entrance to the park. And what they've done is they've added a topiary with different flowers and different trees and decorations over there. So it's looking really good. You look on the ground and you don't even see where these old stone statues used to be, but they've only done one half of it. So I imagine hopefully by late spring, maybe summertime, the entire entrance will be done. Also, there's a new entrance fountain that's coming underway that's going to look very similar to what they had when Epcot first opened. So I'm looking forward to it. Epcot is my favorite park at Walt Disney World. And sadly, it is the one to get the least amount of love in the past. Like Magic Kingdom gets a lot of love. Hollywood Studios now, even Animal Kingdom with it being the baby park. But Epcot, been around since the 80s, and it has been the one that's been the most untouched. So I'm glad that it's getting some love. Another thing that for me was eye-opening was when you walk in to like where you usually see the Fountain of Nations, the building that used to house Starbucks, the Character Spot, and Club Cool, that is completely gone. I'm not so sure how this will look, but pretty much all it is the structure of the building now. It is just torn apart. There are no walls. It's just old. It's just metal and brick and concrete. There's nothing there anymore. And that is to make room for the new festival center that's going to be coming very, very soon. And as you see, a crowd has gathered for us today. But
They're like, what's
so
he doing?
that's going on. Also, in the area next to the Seas and the Coral Reef restaurant, they have pretty much tear down the walls in between Spaceship Earth and that area to make room for the Moana Journey of Water attraction experience. I'm going to call it an experience that's going on. And then next to the land, they are doing some groundwork. It looks like from here, you can't really see it that well. It looks like maybe they're adding some stuff over there. I'm not sure. Children,
What are you doing to those
kids? They love the show, and I love them. Also, over as you make your way into World Showcase, there is a new bathroom there, which that's exciting. You know, always need more bathrooms. The previous bathroom that was there could have, I think, had 3 women's stalls and maybe 2 for men. So having a new bathroom is good. These children are jumping into the fountain and getting soaking wet, and it makes my day because the parents are getting upset. And I don't know, it's just the little things in life you got to enjoy. I'm not a mean person, I promise. But besides that, another exciting thing is going on next to the bathrooms, and that is a new Starbucks location. You know, people need their caffeine fixed, and so a new Starbucks location is always exciting because, well, they just need it. However, I'm not the biggest fan of it just because it's a smaller location than the one that was called Fountain View, and it doesn't look like it adds to the Epcot story at all. Like you go to Magic Kingdom, it's part of Main Street USA. You go to Animal Kingdom, it's part of Africa. You go to Hollywood Studios, it's an old like either train station or breaker station. But the one here, it just looks like any Starbucks you might see on the street. And so that's a little disappointing, but it is not going to be the permanent Starbucks from what I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be temporary for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just about to ask. So, where you're at now, obviously, the Imagination Pavilion, just outside Imagination Pavilion, with your jumping water and your screaming children. The character spot moving in there. Do we know what characters are moving in? Is it just your Fab Five that used to be in character spot, or anybody special?
No, so the character spot location is not actually in the Imagination Pavilion. It is actually in the same building that Baymax, Joy, and Sadness are in over in, I think that's Innovations West or East. I don't want, that's the one towards the land. And I got to walk in there, and it is the same character spot, characters that have been there for a while. So you have Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, and Goofy. And the way it looks, I'm sorry, I don't have any imagery for that. It pretty much just looks like a bunch of EPCOT postcards that the characters stand in front of. So it is in no way a permanent fix. It's just a temporary location so that people can meet, the boss, his girl, and one of his closest friends. But it's a nice, cute little area, but it doesn't really add much to it. It's just a quick spot. Like, it looks like it kind of got built in maybe a couple of days, which I have no doubt that's what happened. But you got to meet your characters, and that's what matters. So yeah, it is directly across from where they used to meet in the character spot.
Got it. So directly behind you is where they're moving starting tomorrow. So don't know if you were brought up to speed with that, but they are moving into the building directly behind you. They're moving into the Pixar Film Festival Theater.
Oh.
So there's some sets that have been put in here, it sounds like, just back behind you, and definitely a new spot because they're going to have to make way for all the construction that's going on where they're at currently.
Yeah, yeah, it would not, like, if you were here today and tomorrow and then come back tomorrow, it would probably look completely different just because I've had people come out in droves from watching the Pixar Film Fest. So clearly in one night, they're going to do a complete turnaround and move those sets in, or if they are closed off, they will open them up or something. But for right now, the films are still in action, and it's a great way of avoiding the rain that we are currently experiencing. But yeah, hopefully this one will be cool. I will definitely be checking that out when it opens up tomorrow.
Well, that sounds terrific. Anything else we should know from EPCOT or Walt Disney World before we go?
Oh, man, there's so much going on.
Are the bathrooms open by Starbucks?
Yeah, the bathrooms are open by Starbucks. They when they opened up, they closed because I believe there was flooding, but now they're back in operation.
Right off the bat.
But
well, that's exciting news.
Well, that seems to be the trend. Like, Skyliner opens, incident. Yeah. But over in the World Showcase, there's a lot of action going on there. Over in France, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is coming along very swiftly. If you ride it from the Skyliner, you will see that construction is coming along even faster than the imagery we show now. It is coming at breakneck paces, and they've just added a lot of detail to the facade of the fake buildings or the show buildings, I guess, to make it look more Parisian and French. So yeah, that will be open spring 2020. So hopefully March or April, just in time for spring break, that will be open, and I cannot wait for that. I rode the ride in Paris. I loved it. I'm also looking forward to the creperie back there. It's going to be truly delicious. Other than that, the biggest thing, especially for you, Wade, is going on in the American Pavilion, the American Adventure, where you're going to have Sam Eagle's American barbecue, and a salute to all foods, but mostly barbecue or something like that. I'm looking forward to that because it's going to be yummy.
Made that title up completely, but I love it.
Again, we don't fact check here, obviously. Regal Eagle Smokehouse is what it's called, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm thrilled that we're using one of the Muppets, and perhaps the greatest Muppet ever created, Sam Eagle, to be sort of the cornerstone host of that restaurant.
I'm kind of hoping that this whole thing of like, we're getting rid of some of the entertainment and the Muppets are going away. I hope it was all a bait and switch for being like, oh, they're just leaving Magic Kingdom and now they're going to Epcot. That would be amazing if they continued that type of show over at the American Pavilion and Epcot. I would love that.
Oh, what I wouldn't give.
Yeah, I mean,
that'd be cool.
It's honestly one of the coolest little Streetmosphere shows that they've ever done too, because you're like, it's the first time you can be like, there's the Muppets and they look like they do on TV. Like, I don't know, it's an amazing show. So I hope they bring it back over there.
Absolutely. Super pumped. Well,
Yeah.
Gared, appreciate your your willingness to be out in the storm, your willingness to be out amongst the screaming masses.
I do it because I care. We scare because we care. That's what Monsters taught me. But yeah, the crowds are very calm at EPCOT today. I think the weather has scared a lot of people away, but still very popular here. No doubt these people are waiting in line for Regal Eagle barbecue because how can you not wait?
Who wouldn't?
For that? Like, I really hope that they have Sam Eagle somewhere in there, just either calling out orders or just saying patriotic things inside of there or outside or somewhere. Because adding like essentially Sam Eagle or an audio animatronic of Sam would add to the show so much. Just randomly hearing like hello there, you. Are you coming to get some good food? Something like that.
That would be amazing. I'd be into that. Like a Mr. Potato Head-esque Sam Eagle hanging out over there.
Barking.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would be really into that. So have you heard anything about, are people already getting into boarding groups for this barbecue? They're going to be getting up at 6 a.m. and...
I've heard that the boarding groups are already booked out for 3 months straight.
Oh, no.
It's a lot of barbecue.
There was a complete glitch in the system.
I knew it.
And no, there's not going to be any boarding group. Thank goodness. That boarding group, while it is beautiful, it is somewhat of a monster just because you got to get up super early to ride rides. But no, I don't believe there's going to be a boarding group for Ratatouille either, just because the queue looks very long. It looks like the one in France that is very long and can fit easily 2.5 to 3 hours worth of people in there. So the boarding group for right now is just sticking with Star Wars. But who knows what happens? Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy will use that too. Yeah, that's going on too. There's still construction going on for Cosmic Rewind over where Ellen's Energy Adventure used to be. So, and then Space 220, that's still being built. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have the facts memorized. There's so much, and I only have 2 hands.
Oh,
so,
you poor guy.
I know. If you guys ever invited me to Burbank to hang out, I'm sure I would have all my stuff, but.
Well, we know that will never happen. Hey, Gared, one last thing. When it comes to Club Cool, obviously the place where you could go in and sample sort of Coca-Cola products from around the world, it was a casualty of the construction that's going on at EPCOT. And a lot of people are wondering, have you heard anything in terms of whether or not Club Cool is going to resurface in the future?
So I've got some friends that might know a mouse that does magic and stuff, and the rumor mill is that Club Cool will return, just maybe not in the, because Club Cool space was very large, so I've heard that Club Cool will return, but not much has been let on from that, because even though Club Cool was this little thing, it's very memorable. Like, people think, like, you walk in the park, let's go get some Club Cool, and then you have to trick your family members into trying Beverly, which I actually find delicious, but that's just me.
It's a big part of the experience, that's for sure.
So the rumor is Club Cool will be back. However, these are just rumors, so hopefully we get an announcement saying Club Cool is coming back, and it's going to be even Club Cooler.
Oh,
wow.
Yes, please.
I have a feeling that if it does come back, it won't be free anymore. That's what I'm worried about. Because if you think about the Coca-Cola building over in Disney Springs, they do that type of experience. They have a lot of different sodas from around the world, but they are not giving them to you for free. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I hope that it's the same. But also, you know, it probably was a logistical nightmare dealing with that place. Like, that whole entire building reeked of nasty syrup. And I couldn't imagine every time a poor custodial guy got that on his assignment. And he's just like, oh, come on, really?
Sticky floors for days.
Gosh. So it just seems like one of the hardest places to keep looking and smelling okay, you know?
Yeah.
But
were you a Club Cooler?
I didn't really like the smell, so I would like go in and maybe try a couple, and then I would leave. I would never like want to hang out like people do in there.
So it doesn't
and just
hurt you
keep
at all
trying.
that this is gone?
No,
Oh,
not
wow.
really. I mean, it was fun to try like a couple things, or if I was thirsty, I'd be like, oh, let's go and get like a little sample, you know? But then, God, that just
The smell
reeked.
is
It's
so
just
bad.
so gross.
That smell is
Anywhere you
hard
go,
to deal with.
it was just stinky of Beverly.
I still
Sorry.
remember back in the day, too, when they had like snow, like a facade of like snow on the front, and then you could walk in and the wall was cold. You could touch the wall.
Oh.
And there was a frozen wall.
That's
And you
pretty
could-
neat.
They still have one at SeaWorld. but
Well, that's a different kind of world. Well, very good. Gared, please don't fly away. Sweet Gared Poppins, we will be bringing you back here in just a bit for the Disney list.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah, you are.
See ya.
See you in a bit, buddy. All right. It's 2020, which means a whole lot of stuff is about to happen in Disney parks. A whole lot of developments when it comes to a new year. Always when you go coast to coast at Disneyland or Walt Disney World. And therefore, we're going to bring out our crystal ball. We're going to take a look at some of the predictions. Let's go. It's Prediction Circle time, where we are going to share with you some of our most, perhaps, thoughtful ideas when it comes to
Wishful?
what very well could happen in 2020. And a lot of things potentially could occur. Obviously, this is a year that, as we were talking to Gared and Walt Disney World about, he's talking about how EPCOT's got a lot of things going on currently, but in terms of everything out in Walt Disney World, a lot of stuff's going to be opening in 2021 for their 50th anniversary. Disneyland has announced a handful of things that are going to be opening this year, but it really is sort of an off year, if you will, not just a leap year, but an off year. Yeah. And so with that, there are a lot of possibilities for announcements throughout the year of things to come, and also big stuff that perhaps hasn't been tabled for a while. So Katrina, why don't we start with you? When it comes to the predictions for 2020, what are some you're thinking of?
Chapek resigns.
Whoa!
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
That's
my,
not one of them. That's not one of them. It's just a wishful idea. But so one of them is the Avengers Campus is opening this year, and so my prediction is it's like, because it's going to be opening up in phases, it's going to be the same as Galaxy's Edge. It's going to be great as it like when it opens, but then it's going to be kind of like a lull, because you can't really. I feel like they're just going to open like lackluster ride, and then they might open that brewery, but then it's not going to be like Rise of the Resistance, awesome, where everybody's like flocking to go get the boarding pass and stuff for it. So I think there's going to be like
I think it's gonna feel a little Pixar Pier.
yeah, like it's just gonna, it open, woo, and then everybody goes, and then it's like, it's gonna kind of like sizzle out.
I have the exact same feeling, and I'm not happy about it. And
that's not what it's supposed to be,
Right.
Like it's supposed to, like they're supposed to open everything all at once, and what they're doing is they're trying to like help their books and like open up in phases, and it's kind of disappointing,
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's
I feel
one
you
of
on
them.
that one.
Yeah, I know. Do you want me to go to my second one?
Go for it.
I'm gonna go all three. Okay.
Yeah.
Second one. Alcohol being served either Riverbell Terrace or Tropical Hideaway, like
Whoa.
rum Dole Whip floats. Like they're gonna, maybe because those are like, I want to say because they're doing it at Oga's Cantina. Just as
The Gateway.
The Gateway.
And
The Gateway restaurant.
I've always said.
Thank you.
and so it's just like it's contained. You
Yeah.
can't leave with it or anything. And so for Riverbell Terrace, because it's overpriced barbecue, I feel like it's a contained area where they can serve just beer and wine, not like mixed drinks or anything.
Yeah.
But just do beer and wine and be like for dinner, maybe like dinner only or something.
Could you
and
imagine the upsells they could get for Phantasmic
then,
viewing too?
Heck yeah.
Oh,
Whew.
huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not saying
that's a
it's
great
right,
idea.
but
Walt would say it's not right.
I know it's not right, but then and then Dole Whip, they can monitor. They can probably like serve the rum in like a indigo colored thing to make it look like there is alcohol in there, and then they can. They do it at Animal Kingdom where they do like a shot of rum. And then they weave it inside, and they do it over at the Disneyland Hotel. So I'm just like, that's a contained area too. So maybe they can have someone like watch it. So if anybody leaves, I don't know. Anyway,
And the
so
way
that's
they
my thought.
Yeah, the way they construct and everything too is they make it so that you can't just like pour the rum out and you can't just like take a shot of rum or anything. They mix it in with the Dole Whip. So I think that could definitely happen at Disneyland.
Yeah.
pretty
And
bold prediction there. Alcohol coming to two
They're
restaurants.
trying at Oga's Cantina. I think
Yeah.
they're trying to like see what it's like, and so maybe they're gonna try to like bring it into another restaurant. I was thinking the Blue Bayou too, just because that's like a hard to get reservation, and it's like a contained area again. And because like I would love to have a glass of wine with my like steak and my little surf and turf, you know. But that's my second prediction.
And your bayou chlorine smell?
Delicious.
Oh,
It's a great.
Don't forget the mildew.
don't forget the
Yeah.
mildew.
That's the greatest. Yeah.
Your wine and your mildew. No.
Isn't that like what we all want in our lives?
I think we aspire.
It's that
to
candle
always
company.
have-
They
I
need
mean,
to make
yeah, I was gonna say
wine and
there's a
mildew.
candle company that makes that smell now, so
Yeah.
I guess some people want it. I want it. I like that smell.
Oh my god, it's
Waft
the
in
best.
your, just put it in your bathroom. There
It's-
you
it-
go.
yeah.
You got the best of
It
both
is-
worlds.
It's one of those smells too that when you walk into Pirates of the Caribbean, you're like, oh, this is great. But if you walked into your house and smelled it,
Yeah,
you'd be like, oh
boy.
no.
I think you're onto
I
something.
think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then my third, it was so hard to find three, you know?
Sure.
Because like they're all pretty much hopes. Like I hope this happens,
Yeah.
but that's not really a prediction, according to Tyler. So my third one is Disney announces Downtown Disney after Lego Store getting a makeover. So hopefully, because it's not really a prediction.
Yeah.
But it's literally dead down there, and they finally just opened up that what is it called again? Like the bow. What is
Oh,
it?
Asian Street Eats?
Yeah, the
Oh, the
Asian
truck.
Street. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was in. It was supposed to be a truck, and it literally it took like half a year
Yeah.
for it to finally open.
Right.
Anyway, so
Pointless.
I'm hoping that they announce this year that they're gonna try to add in like restaurants and maybe Chicken Guy come in and try to like do a couple things down there to like get more people to go down there, because they're gonna probably break ground on that new hotel soon. So they need to do something, you know, to draw people
I
in.
think Chicken Guy would make a killing over there.
Yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
I love Chicken Guy. It's like it's quick, easy. Anyway, and like was it Earl of Sandwich owns them. The people that own Earl of Sandwich
and
owns
they're-
Chicken
and
Guy.
they run Asian Street Eats, so they could like monopolize that
Take that
little
whole corner.
Yeah.
Get out of here, Patina. You get this end and we get the other end. So yeah, those are my three. So I'm hoping that they bring more restaurants in and maybe a barbecue. That'd be really good.
Like a smokehouse?
Like a smokehouse.
Like
Maybe
one
Regal
themed
Eagle.
after an eagle. Oh,
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry. I ruined it for him.
dang.
But anyway, so I was like, I don't know, hoping like maybe they can do like some kind of cool barbecue thing down there. But those are like my three.
I think that's a very sort of well-educated, guess when it comes to well-educated prediction when it comes to that end of Downtown Disney. I think you're absolutely right. I think that's going to be announced. They have to.
Yeah, I
at
don't want
this
another
point.
pop-up art thing, like the picture selfie thing.
That
I
went
don't know,
into
that
the
was
ESPN
ridiculous.
zone.
Yeah.
It was all Mickey themed, right, for
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
birthday, and then they just left it sitting dormant. And
It's one of those things that makes you sad after a while.
You walk by
Like, I
now
don't
and you
know.
can still peek up there and you can still see all this stuff there. They haven't
Yeah, they
got
didn't
rid
remove
of it.
anything.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they could have just like left it open. I don't know why they just closed it.
so bizarre.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, great predictions.
Yeah.
Tyler, your three. What's on your mind for 2020?
So kind of, I guess we've just been talking about how just walking past the pop-up, they left everything there. It makes you feel sad when you see it. That's honestly how I've been feeling about Tomorrowland for a long time now.
Here, here.
Tomorrowland is all about the kinetics. Walt knew that he wanted to have the thing be about transportation and have the people mover going by and the monorail and just all these different things. And it's just been so sad for so many years now. I think my prediction is we're finally going to see some type of announcement for a plan for Tomorrowland this year.
Really? You
I
think
hope
this is
so.
the year.
Maybe.
2020.
I think in the next couple years we're definitely going to see
Yeah.
some type of plan for Tomorrowland because
Come on,
it's
people
been
mover.
I mean, and think about to the Star Wars launch bay, like
Yeah.
sure that's a decent place to go meet Chewbacca and Darth Vader, but like it's so much space for such a nothing if you really think about it.
Sure.
And that needs to be changed. They need to bring back the people mover in some capacity. There just needs to be more movement in Tomorrowland, and that's just what it's been missing for so long. It's honestly the only land that I go into personally, and I'm like, this is just concrete.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing here but concrete. So it needs something to happen to it, and what that is doesn't need to be that exciting. Even just a nice little facelift. Some type of kinetic ride like the People Mover, which, come on, that can't be that far out of the budget, I would think. So yeah, that's my first prediction. Tomorrowland announcements.
You know, it sounds like one of those things that has been kicked down the road so many times in terms of what you hear from Imagineers, you hear on the peripheral of new projects and new lands and expansions and everything, that the Tomorrowland expansion / refurb of the whole land has continued to be kicked down the road year after year and budget after budget, and it just has never been one of those things that anyone's going to plant their flag in. Why? I don't get it. When you have an existing land that needs so much help and you're just like, well, no, let's just build a new one. Okay, well, if the case is to build a new one to absorb crowds and then you can shut down a whole land and go in and gut and do what you need to do, then fine. But I think you're absolutely right. I think we might be on sort of the cusp of a major announcement when it comes to Tomorrowland.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that really makes me think that too is if you've seen the concept art for the new entrance that they're building to Tomorrowland, and they're changing the aesthetic of the front, like, again. So, it just makes me think, like, why would they have this mishmash of different aesthetics if they're not going to do something about the rest of the land and at some point in the near future? And the near future for a theme park is 2 to 3 years, I think.
Sure.
But think about the traffic, like when you go in and out of that place. I mean, it just needs help. It's just everything about it is. I hated working there when I was a cast member. It was like the place I wanted to work the least because it's just boops and beeps and concrete. That's all it is.
That should be like a T-shirt: boops and beeps and concrete.
I think we're onto something.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll go on to my second one now, which I forgot off the top of my head. So let me read it again. Okay.
Going all right.
I think we will see the expansion of entertainment at Galaxy's Edge. I think that there's been many plans for what they want to do in Galaxy's Edge for entertainment-wise, and I guarantee you they have a big giant book of scripts in the back of all these different shows that they could play out there that are not happening now. And I think the reason was not only because of just budgets. They just wanted to make sure that they weren't spending a lot of money on entertainment. But I think the real reason they were super worried about was just how crowded Galaxy's Edge was going to be, and if they could accomplish these things with massive crowds around. I think once they're feeling out Galaxy's Edge, once Rise of the Resistance kind of cools down a little bit in Disneyland, that they'll start bringing out a couple of droids here or there, maybe. I'm not going to say that for sure, or they'll start doing some type of small time stunt show where Rey and Kylo maybe go face to face or something, like we've seen for some of the media events that they've been doing for Rise of the Resistance out in Orlando. They've had these big, stunt shows that have happened there. They even had X-Wings fly over the land for a couple nights. So what type of entertainment exactly they'll bring, I'm not sure, but I know that they have a plan for it. And I know, like, if you look at Galaxy's Edge just as a whole, you can see that every area is outlined by basically stages. I mean, they just built stages.
Every corner of the land has a stage. Yeah.
I mean, they just built a big stage everywhere, and that's exactly what they're doing for Avengers Campus too. They're doing the same. They're going to have the same exact thing. I guarantee you, Spider-Man is going to jump off a roof at some point. Maybe not right when it opens.
Sure.
But anyway, so expanding the entertainment at Galaxy's Edge, I think, is probably big on their list.
I mean, it should be a given that just happens. Obviously, we talk about all the cutbacks and everything that they've done in terms of not having that land sort of at full sail when they set sail.
Right.
And now knowing that, okay, you've got your major attractions open, you've got your land at what you consider to be full capacity. It is time to finally add the sparkle in the show, and that is your entertainment. So I think that's again a very well-educated prediction. I think you're absolutely right. We might definitely see some overlays and some things being brought in to help liven the place up because it does feel dead.
So. Yeah.
I will say I was a little bit disappointed after seeing both Rise of Skywalker and Rise of the Resistance that I now know, or at least I'm 95% sure, that Galaxy's Edge is locked in at its time. It's not gonna be moving forward. I was wondering at a certain point if, like, down the road, if we could see, if as the evolution of the Star Wars movies happens, maybe there would be an evolution of Galaxy's Edge, like of the story changing. But after, I don't want to say why I feel that way, but after seeing the movie and the ride, it's locked into where it is, unfortunately.
I've heard that from some other people too.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Well, what's number 3?
So my third one, this is more of a hope. I actually don't know if anything's going to happen here, but Hollywoodland over at Disney California Adventure, that place needs some help. And especially with Avengers Campus moving. Right now, it's the de facto, hey, Avengers come to California. Let's go. You know,
Right.
Right now it's like, hey, you want to go meet Loki or Black Panther, then go to Hollywood, which is weird. You know, because you could go, I guess it makes sense actually, because you could go to the Chinese theater, see a bunch of superheroes there, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, they make, you know, it's the same thing over
Really
in
hideous
Hollywoodland.
and
Yeah, but they
cheap.
don't smell in California or in Disneyland.
I don't smell them that closely, but
I guess that's just for the rest of us.
I'm hoping that they announce some type of thing where they have a plan for what they're going to do with Hollywoodland, because right now it's just a big mishmash of weirdness, actually, if you really think about it. I mean, I love the animation building. It's so nice to go in there on a hot day.
Yep.
I love the Monsters Inc. Mike and Sully to the rescue. I mean, I think
great
that's
ride.
incredible. I was happy to see that PhilharMagic was coming to us, but now, now what? Like,
right.
like now, especially when now all the heroes are going to be moving to the Avengers campus.
Right.
So what are they going to do in this area to liven it up? I don't know. Could they bring back the Tea Party maybe as a temporary thing? I'm not sure, because we used
That'd
to
be
love
cool.
we
I
loved
loved
the Tea Party. I really did like
Regenerate Tron all over again.
The Tea Party. Oh man, see, in Disney World, I could see that happening
Yeah.
because they're building the light
light
cycles,
cycle,
but I don't think they're going to do that here.
Some sort of party though. To
Some
that
sort
back
of party
area.
is going to be probably the first go-to de facto thing. But
Can we have an annual pass holder lounge, please?
There we go. Well,
I
I don't
mean,
know
they-
if you've
Well,
heard.
There's
Yeah.
OC Register said that there's a secret bar that
Oh,
is,
boy.
Just being discussed today, as a matter of
Just-
fact.
I know,
Yeah.
I
Secret
know.
bar for annual pass holders. Oh,
for
my.
one day only.
That's right. Yeah. Get over there.
Yeah, I know.
Be
right?
classy.
That's
Exactly.
how we do it.
But yeah, Hollywoodland is by far the weirdest part of California Adventure at this point, and it needs something to happen to it, because it's starting to feel like that Tomorrowland thing where you're like, oh gosh, I don't even really want to be here. You know, I go on Space Mountain and I leave. You know, that's
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
like but Hollywood Studios or Hollywoodland, I'm sorry, it doesn't really even have that aspect to it. You know, maybe I'll go do Monsters Inc. on a crowded day because it'll be 10-minute wait, but then what?
Yeah, I think we share the
So-
same eye for that. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a series now for the Kingdom Report YouTube channel where it hasn't been released yet, but doing a series of videos. One happens to be on Tomorrowland, and the case for Tomorrowland, and then the case for Hollywood Backlot.
Yeah.
And
I did this on
Hollywoodland.
purpose to
Yeah,
push
set it
those
up.
videos
Yeah.
for
Thank you.
you.
Yeah, right. But they're coming because these are the two areas, the two lands of both of these major parks that absolutely need some attention and needs an identity because they've just died and become sort of shells of what they used to be.
Yeah.
So I think that, again, I think you're onto something there. Hopefully, I mean, with all that space, all those sound stages, all those areas back there not being utilized, all these great places to sort of expand into not being touched at a time where Disneyland is talking about like, oh, you know, we have so many people visiting. Well, there's a lot of extra space that they're not using that they could absorb those crowds with. And I don't think that it's responsible as a business to know that you have this huge demand and not do anything to help sort of quench that. Especially if you have space and have the ability to push people into other spots, that's a better guest experience for everybody. I don't know why it just hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I also worry too. Like the more I think about it, like I keep saying, oh, the heroes are going to move over to the Avengers campus, but I don't even know if that's 100% true, because if you think about it, they still do things, you know, and it's out of the timeline, I guess. That's, you know, you're not going to go see Darth Vader at Galaxy's Edge. So I understand why they still have him at Launch Bay, but it's one of those things where that park feels a little weird because there's Star Wars over here and Star Wars over there, you know?
Yep.
And I hope they don't do that with Marvel. I hope that when they build the campus that I don't want to see Captain America in Hollywoodland anymore.
Right.
Like I
Pointless.
yeah, it's against. Yeah, why did you build this whole area? Now I'm getting upset. Why did you build this whole area if you're gonna just have them hang out?
Let's let it open first. You know, then you can get your rage on.
I'm curious too. Just a quick question for you guys. Do you think that Avengers Campus is just boom Avengers, or do you think it's like no, it's this specific part of the timeline? Like,
I think it's supposed to be a specific part.
is it a
isn't
specific part of a
Because it's
timeline
supposed to,
like
like-
Galaxy's? Because Galaxy's Edge is clearly stuck at where it is. There's no way.
That's a
it's
great
gonna-
question.
So I don't know if
I don't know.
Avengers Campus is supposed to be like
Well,
after
obviously we know what-
Endgame or
Yeah.
whatever, you
Well,
know. Or
I mean, isn't Iron Man supposed to be there? So
so there. I mean,
And they are
spoilers.
recruiting for an
Ooh.
initiative. So I mean, I'm sure that plays into some sort of timeline.
yeah, because isn't it supposed to like
I don't know.
connect between what like Paris and
Right.
it's supposed to connect like all of
The other
all
parts.
of them are
Yep.
different.
So I don't know. I'm curious if that's going to be like, hey, just welcome to this comic book world, or no, this has to fit into this timeline. Because if it does have to fit into a timeline, then that will mean that some characters might have to be outside of the campus.
Right.
But time will tell, I suppose.
Time will tell
Time will
about the
tell.
timeline. That's right.
That's true.
Well, great predictions, you two. Very excited to see what 2020 brings at Disney parks, coast to coast. And now you've heard our predictions. Stick around because we're going to be talking to you a little bit more about what we're excited that we know is coming for 2020, what we are most looking forward to straight ahead.
Do you know everything the ghost host is going to say before he says it? Are you ready to thank the Venetians each time you board Spaceship Earth? Can you recite Walt's opening day dedication speech? Then join the Kingdom team today, the influential legacy fan community featuring exclusive merchandise that will alert all who've come to this happy place that you are more than just another guest. You are a trusted theme park fan. Don't miss out. Join the Kingdom team right now by visiting the homepage at kingdomreportlive.com. That's kingdomreportlive.com. And now, back to the magic.
Disney List Time is here, and today we're talking about, obviously, 2020, the new year. Therefore, what the heck is going on when it comes to Disney parks from coast to coast? What the heck are we looking forward to the most? Well, we have what tops our list here with us today, and I decided, why don't we throw it on over to Tyler first, ask him exactly what is at the forefront of your list when it comes to Walt Disney World in 2020.
Okay, so I've got a few things, but I'm going to have to narrow it down on the fly here. I think the number one thing that I'm looking forward to, keep it simple, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I think that's going to be an incredible attraction with things that you... Obviously, it's going to be highly projection mapped. That's what we know for sure. But I think what they do with that is going to be unlike anything you've ever seen before, and I fully believe that they're going to blow your mind, and you're going to go in and not be able to figure out what's real and what's cartoon like the first couple times you go on that ride. You know, it sounds like it's going to be incredible, and it sounds like it's going to be again an attraction that we're not used to.
It also tops my list, as a matter of fact. That
Okay,
is that
cool,
is
yeah.
absolutely on my list of one of the things I'm looking forward to the most. I mean, there's all kinds of things happening in Disney World this year, all kinds of things that are opening and new experiences that are being pushed into the place. And this one, I think I've mentioned it on a prior broadcast before. You know, I had scheduled a trip in 2019 to go see this attraction when it was supposed to open the first time.
Right.
And then they delayed, and then said, well, after Galaxy's Edge and after Rise of the Resistance and everything. So here we are, you know, a year later, and they're opening it, you know, in 2020, and it definitely tops on my list. Mickey and Minnie deserve one of the greatest attractions ever built because they've never really had one before.
Yeah,
You know,
I
so
mean,
this is
true.
great.
And the thing that I'm really excited about too is the animation style. I know that like with these new Mickey cartoons, a lot of people are kind of hit and miss on it, hit or miss on it, I should say, where you know they're like, oh, it's too Ren and Stimpy for me or something like that. But I personally have been a massive fan of these shorts, and I watch every single one of them that comes out, and they've actually made me laugh. And They're
funny.
great because they take like other Disney properties and put them into that animation, and I love seeing all the different jokes. Anyway, I'm so excited that this animation style is getting a ride as well. Paul, the Paul Rudish produced cartoons are just amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it. I don't know what else to say besides I think it's going to be a whole nother, I think it's going to be trackless with all these weird things are going to happen. I think you're going to think, oh, we're in this train, but we're going to, I don't want to say much, but I think it's going to blow away. You're going to have expectations, and it's going to change those expectations, I think.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I hope it gives like Rise the run for its money. Like I hope it just
That'd be amazing.
That's like what I'm hoping that's going to happen because they delayed it for so long, and so I hope they just added like new cool
friendly
things
competition.
To it. Yeah,
Yeah. So, man.
Very cool. Well, what else tops your list?
So now I'm thinking about which one I want to do. I think I'm going to go with the evolution of EPCOT. I know that a lot of things won't be complete in 2020. But I personally love how every time, we probably visit 3, 4, 5 times a year. And I love how every time we go to EPCOT, it's like a new snapshot of what's been going on, right? Like, so you kind of show up a few months later and it's like, oh, wow, that's completely changed and that's different now. And this is really getting close to being complete. Yeah. And that's what I'm excited about, actually, is seeing the construction process and watching everything change. And there's like something really fun about that. Watching your Christmas presents be wrapped almost, like we're just like, oh, that's going to be a fun one to open, So yeah, I don't know. The evolution of EPCOT, nothing in particular. I'm just excited to see. I want to see that big table they're building. I'm going to go stand on that table and watch the fireworks.
Oh,
one night.
wow. Look at you.
I know. It's going to be expensive.
It's going to be expensive, but I'm going to do it. And, I want to see what they have planned for Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm excited about.
Which I think everybody needs to curb their expectations for that already. I don't think it's going to be a big ride.
He's aiming towards me. He's like, calm down, Katrina.
We don't even know what type of a ride it's going to be. They're
I don't
keeping
think
it
it's
very
gonna be a
tight-lipped.
ride.
I don't think it's going to be a
I think
ride
it's gonna
because
be an
I think they
attraction.
would be like, once all this started coming out of like, oh, I don't know, how cool is this Mary Poppins thing going to be? I guarantee if I was Disney, I would be like, guys, it's a ride.
Yeah.
This is a freaking ride.
Right.
And they haven't done that, so. But I'm excited to see what it's going to be regardless. And I don't know. I think they're actually, I know a lot of people are upset about the evolution of EPCOT right now, but I think that they're actually being more cognizant of the kind of, maybe not original vision, but of what EPCOT means to everybody. I think they're being more cognizant of that
which is fantastic.
Than many guests are led
a lot of sentimental value that comes with EPCOT. And
I
think you're absolutely right.
I mean, even when you go and look at the, they have their EPCOT experience kind of preview going on right now over in the Odyssey. And even when you go walk behind that thing, they just have dozens of posters of all this amazing art of many attractions that don't even exist anymore.
Yeah.
And seeing new art for these old attractions, they didn't forget about it. They didn't, and even though it's just a little poster, it still shows me they didn't forget about all their history. And so
it has heart.
Yeah, it does.
Well, very cool. Katrina, what tops your list?
Okay, so I had to get rid of one and change it over because it was all food based, and I'm like, all right, get out of here with the food. But my first one is Regal Eagle's Smokehouse.
Really?
Yeah.
Out of all the offerings, the Smokehouse. That's so cool.
I mean, I really was between the Space 220. I was just like, oh gosh, I really want this one, but then I'm just like, I don't know. We'll see. Patina's food sometimes always just it's like. I think the ambiance would be cooler than the food, but sorry, Patina.
They've gotten real good at pumping food out. That's all I'll say. But
yeah, they're really good at getting that catering stuff done.
Thank God for theming.
I know. Yeah. But Regal Eagle, because it's just like Sam Eagle, like you guys were talking about in the beginning of the show. My heart was like, come on, they have to bring the Muppets to that area because they just have to. Like they need to make it more alive. I know they have like the show inside with God, what are they called? The choir, like the singing
Voices of Liberty.
The Voices of Liberty. That's great and stuff, but I think it'd be really fun to get them like on the outside or something to get people like drawing them into the barbecue smokehouse. So I think that's really exciting. I do think it's kind of comical in my mind. I'm just going to say it out loud because I am like all loopy on all my flu and cold medicines. But it's funny because Sam Eagle's like such like a patriotic, mascot and stuff, but then they're like doing craft beers and stuff, and I was like, I can't see Sam Eagle like promoting beer. I think that's just like a really weird thing, and that's what they're promoting.
It'd be great if he took jabs at that.
Yeah, I'm sure maybe he might. Who knows?
Listen, I could see him promoting anything that's American, and there's nothing more American than the craft beer movement right now. So
I guess so. There's supposed to be like beers that like correspond with the different kind of barbecue regions. I guess that's what they're trying to do. So I'm really excited about that coming because I just really hope there's something gluten-free and delicious. And like they tease because they do the food and wine festival. They have like that smokehouse, like that smoker outside, and it smells delicious.
Well, I guess it was for food and wine.
Yeah, they do for food and wine and stuff, and then they also have it they didn't do barbecue for Festival of the Holidays, but I'm excited because it smells delicious. So I really hope that it works. And then my second is keeping in EPCOT.
Yep.
Is the Beauty and the Beast sing-along and Canada Far and Wide Circle Vision.
Yeah.
Those.
So
I'm
forget
really,
Wonders China. You just want
Yeah,
Canada.
I don't know.
And the Beauty and the Beast sing-along.
I guess so.
That's all I'm hearing. Yeah.
They make me feel like I'm racist.
We'll be real. To be real, that's one that we actually haven't seen. Wonders.
Yeah,
China.
I haven't really seen Wondrous China.
Yeah.
I don't know why we haven't. I think it was.
I think
just
we were gonna
never...
go watch it one day, and then something happened, and we decided not to. Anyway,
Yeah, I know.
We have to go see it.
Well, we have
now
to.
we can't anymore, can we?
The new Wonders. The
new-
one
the
coming
old-
is
no, but I'm
Wonders
saying
China.
the old one
you
is-
didn't see Reflections of China.
Reflections. I don't know the names. I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. Yeah.
No, but yeah, I'm excited for those. And then I'm sure like the one in China is going to be really cool too because, I mean, it's just going to be like, it's all brand new, like all new technology and stuff. So it's probably going to look even better. Probably going to get crazy motion sickness. That's probably why we didn't do it because we probably did a couple things and I'm like, whoa.
Maybe.
But I'm really excited to like
Sing along
with Beauty and the Beast and see what their new additions are going to be because they changed like the storyline or something in it. So I'm like, okay, let's see what this is going to be, and then see Canada Far and Wide because I really love Eugene Levy, and so I'm excited to see that stuff. So
I think it'll be
we'll
really
see.
cool. Yeah.
Never mind.
Pumped up.
What?
Yeah, forget you.
I was gonna make a joke, but then the joke has passed, and me talking about it more makes it less awkward, right? That's how jokes work.
Well, explaining it all out makes it
Womp
funny.
womp.
Hey, we can't have a segment about Walt Disney World without our Walt Disney World reporter, Gared Hassel, is standing by in Epcot right now. Gared, tell us, man, what tops your list when it comes to 2020 at Walt Disney World? What are you most looking forward to?
All right, so since I'm in Epcot and after Park, Epcot is, of course, has to. My second one is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, the new attraction that is coming over there. Just from the concept art I've seen and what is behind it, how you will be launched. Essentially, you will do the initial start launching backwards. That excites me, first of all, just because who doesn't love the Guardians of the Galaxy? I wish Fat Thor would be a part of it, but probably that's not going to be the case. So yeah, Cosmic Rewind is my number two, just because it's exciting. It's a new fun attraction. It's going to have a unique queue and ride system where like it goes backwards and turns and twists. So truly Disney gets to dictate where the show is happening and can utilize the most space available rather than just having a fixed point. And then my number one is going to be Harmonious, the new fireworks that is coming to Epcot, just because I've heard that Harmonious is going to be something truly spectacular, and anything to get rid of Epcot is good in my mind because I do not like that show at all.
Yeah, a lot of friction when it comes to that show. But so you touched on my number one there. I think that's fantastic. So, Tyler had one of mine and you had my other, which was obviously Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway and now Harmonious there at Epcot. Definitely two things that I know I am super pumped about. Producer Curt, when it comes to you, anything that you're looking forward to the most when it comes to Disney World in 2020?
So mine's Epcot as well. There's definitely a theme here going.
We all love Epcot.
Yeah, mine is the Spaceship 2020 restaurant because I love space and I like to eat.
Well, then there
Put
you
the
go.
two together.
Yeah.
What else? And I know that there's probably gonna be like hidden Mickey stars and spaceships and stuff. It's gonna
You're
be
gonna
fun.
see like Pluto P out there and like little crystals.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, there's gonna be something going on like that. So that's I look forward to that. And then the other one is the Ratatouille ride, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure.
Ah, very nice.
No one said Tron. I'm surprised.
That was my runner-up. Tron Light Cycles was my runner-up. But,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh man, Ratatouille is a good one. That was like on part of mine too.
Yeah,
And then I was
really
like, I don't know. Probably someone else is gonna say it, so I'll toss that and put something else in.
It's a good movie, and I don't think it gets the credit that it deserves. So
It's true. I'm excited.
Well, very cool. And Gared, before we let you go, tell us, sir, in all the things that are coming to Epcot, all the experiences that Epcot is going to be providing over the course of 2020, what are you most looking forward to inside that park outside of Harmonious?
Like Guardians of the Galaxy. Honestly, I am truly looking forward. There's so much. I can't just pick one. So.
Oh, wow.
For me,
Way to
I
be
would just have
decisive.
to go. Yeah. No. I really am looking forward to the Ratatouille. I believe it's Ratatouille, le tout le monde tout de Remy.
Oh, is that how you
That's
say it
what I'm
in
looking forward
French?
to.
Oh,
Yes,
show off.
Yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to that just because it's a cute, whimsical attraction that I love so much in France, and I'm so happy it's coming here. I really hope that they keep the same exact version where it's partial French, partial English, just because I think that helps immerse the passenger or the guest into that experience. So anything that can also enlighten people into other cultures is truly what Walt spoke to, because Walt was all about like world unification and just coming together. And I think when you add another culture in there, and such a beautiful culture such as the French culture with its language, I think it will come together. So yeah, Remy is, I'm happy that he's coming here. I'm hoping for some meet and greets with him and his brother Emil.
That would be great.
That'd be amazing.
Rat-tastic,
sure.
as they say. Absolutely. And just to point something out, you'd mentioned, I'm surprised nobody said Tron. It's in 2021. So,
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
Okay.
it's pushed out for the 50th.
Oh, that's why I'm glad I didn't say it. Yeah, I did that on purpose.
Yeah, nicely done. Yeah, no.
Ah.
That'll be arriving in 2021. So that's what we're looking forward to the most when it comes to Walt Disney World in 2020. Stick around. Plenty more Kingdom Report Live next.
Hey Kingdom team, do you need more magic in your life? We understand, which is why we connect you to more of what makes you happy 3 times a week. Catch our theme park coverage, vlogs, and reviews every Tuesday and Thursday. And experience the Kingdom Report Live, streaming every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. That's new content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, crafted with you in mind. Don't miss out. Be sure to subscribe and activate notifications at The Kingdom Report on YouTube. And catch every update throughout the week at Kingdom Report Live on social media. See you there!
Well, my friends, that brings us to the conclusion of our first broadcast of 2020. So grateful to have had you with us. But before we go, I want to ask Tyler and Katrina, anything new coming up in this new year for AttractionFaction.net?
Yeah, so we know that we had a lot going on over the holidays. We know we're behind, but we're coming out with a Festival of the Holidays vlog. We got to eat some food. I understand that the festival will be over by the time you get to watch the video.
For next year.
You can plan for next year, and also it's still just fun to watch people eat. I think it is. I watch Food Network all the time, so
That's right.
It is fun to watch people eat. You bet.
So I mean, we're gonna put that video out, and it'll be probably on Monday. So look forward to watching us eat some food at the Festival of the Holidays over at EPCOT.
Yep.
Well, if you're depressed like the rest of us that Christmas is over, this will help us hold on to it a little bit longer.
Just for a couple more minutes, just a few more.
Just hang on to
I
whatever's
know.
left.
And then I'm heading out. This is my last
That's right.
show for like probably the month.
Goodness gracious,
I know.
she comes back
And then I gotta get
sick,
out of here again.
and then she takes off.
I know. Hopefully
What
I
is
get
this?
better in like 2 days.
Oh my gosh.
I'll miss you.
I'm gonna miss you too.
I hope you
don't
stay
worry.
sick so that you don't go.
Oh my goodness! So you're the one that's keeping me sick.
There it is.
Just slowly slipping the
You heard this,
trace amounts of
America.
poison into her.
I know. Oh my god,
That's love.
this is some deep stuff going
My
on
God,
right here.
it's what he's visualized his
Happy
whole
New
life.
Year's.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we're gonna miss you.
I know we're gonna miss you guys. Well, I'm
you.
gonna miss you guys. Yeah.
It'll
I
be a sad state of affairs around here without you
know.
in that seat. But like I said, it's nice of you to come back just to
Absolutely.
just to taunt us one time and then be gone.
That's right.
Let's
I'll
make
keep
this
your
go.
seat warm for you. I'll put one cheek on that seat, one cheek on this seat.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay. Well, that's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Man spreading all up in this studio. That's what it's all about. But thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being a part of the broadcast as well. As always, remember, the legacy of Walt Disney lives on because of people like you and me. We will see you next week, Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, for another Kingdom Report Live.